Hello to myself and everybody else. Welcome to the second devlog diary. So far, I just decided to go ahead and just put the date on this and everything because, help me keep track of it. So far, I'm recording this really late at night because I got a lot of stuff I gotta do tomorrow. So, probably gonna sound tired doing this, but I'm gonna just go ahead and get started. So far, to continue from the last one, basically, just to reiterate my end goal of all this, is to make video games as a career. And if I want to do that, basically, I'm going to have to lay out a plan on exactly how I really want to do that, or specifically just say what I need to learn to be able to do that. So, basically starting off, things I need to learn to be able to achieve this goal and all that is 1, programming, 2, art or how to draw, 3, music, and 4, marketing. So for all these, I'm pretty sure really important parts to be able to make video games. So I really make sure I get these parts down to be able to get anywhere close to doing my goal. I have actually started on some of this stuff, and I'm basically gonna run down through just some of the stuff I've done before, and basically what I want to be able to basically kind of like just a roadmap or something like that. So I'll be able to have a plan going forward for what I'm going to do and all that. So go ahead and look into the things I've done so far. Programming wise, I've done all my programming in Game Maker Studios, and that's kind of the only thing I really worked with. It was the first thing I really got introduced to, so I just want to go and work with that the whole time. But so far, some of my projects I've made in there is Top Ed Hero, which is one of my really early games I did for a class and was working with other people. So that one, basic program wise, was really basic stuff, drag and drop and everything like that. And eventually I had to translate it into code when I kind of was going back, relearning Game Maker again. Went back, changed a lot of stuff, changed stuff to code, and I kind of use that as kind of a first step of just getting started with all that. My other thing was another game I made called Shadow Child, which after a long hiatus of just not programming anything or making anything Game Maker, I just decided to go ahead and just get started making something and basically just try to get back into it. So Shadow Child was the first game Shadow Child was the first game I basically made to get back into programming, as well as learn the pure basics and ropes of that. So that game itself was mostly drag and drop with a little bit of code, mostly for saving and things like that, but basically it was a way for me to get into it and try to learn the basics, fundamentals. Then made another game called Yes No Adventure. That basically I just kind of used a tutorial to just learn how to get text and words on a screen, and basically just kind of use that, just make a game to get practice with the script and everything. So that is one of the things I've made and all that. And going right into the main game I'm working on right now, basically to practice all the parts of it of drawing, making a story, programming, and actually getting my games and stuff out there, is Buy Some Milk. That, so far, I have learned a lot. It's a 5-part story. I'm currently on story 5, so I have a lot to so basically I only got one story left with that and everything, but from stories 1 through 4, I do feel like I've actually learned a lot making this, in regards to just learning how to get better at drawing and pixel art, learning some basics of making music, and continue to practice programming. so far I do want to keep making other stuff since I'm on story 5 and that's the last one. After that I want to try making like a few shorter games and just try to just continue on. So I just keep practicing everything I learned and just continue. But moving on is art. So far for that, like early game, childhood, a lot of the art in that, basically all the art in that I drew, except like a lot of stuff was like really simple. So everything was really blocky and just very, really basic, nothing really impressive. So, but I was getting started, so everybody have a starting point at some area. So. But Bison Milk is the other game that I just basically completely tried just working with pixel art, trying to learn more basics and fundamentals. And so far, I think I'm getting like a decent grasp on it and everything like that, but I still know there's a lot to learn to improve my quality, because so far a lot of my stuff still kind of looks really basic. So I really want to try to just like improve that and improve the quality, make it look more impressive, something where, somebody looks at it, they'll genuinely be interested, rather than kind of how it is now. They look at it and they might go, this game looks kind of basic, or this looks like this game might be terrible. So yeah, I just want to like try to at least improve on the visuals and everything else. But I know people like judge the visuals heavily, so I really need to work on that part like more thoroughly. Also, I've glanced at a few art books that I have, like some draw people, landscapes, like a lot of beginner's books for getting started with drawing, because I think that stuff would be really good for me to like look at to get better at pixel art as well, because just watching some videos, I basically heard that like to get better at pixel art, it's better to learn some basic art fundamentals and everything. So basically using a bunch of art books, I learned the fundamentals of drawing with like pencils and paper and everything, and then try to translate that into pixel art. So I'm just going to keep working with those as well. And with the books, I've started some stuff but really never like kept going, so I'm basically starting from the beginning again and just work my way through and just like get everything down. Music, the only game I've really made any music for is Bison Milk. Technically I've made music for Shadow Child, but that music really wasn't that good. Plus the other half of it was made by like my cousin, so yeah, like so far both of us were just getting started with that, so it's not really the best stuff. So I really wouldn't actually use that as a base example too much, but Bison Milk is the main one where I basically got started just making my own music for levels and just trying to learn stuff as I go through. And I'm trying to like work with more 8-bit like music, like chiptune kind of stuff. So with that, I'm still trying to learn the fundamentals of that. But since I'm working on like story 5 and I'm working on story 1 through 4, I feel like at least got an okay grasp on it, but I still have a lot of areas I need to work on. I definitely know I need to work on my melodies and switching up my drums and just trying to make the songs more catchy and more memorable. But at least I say they're not completely terrible, so. But I definitely know there's a lot to improve on there. And the other area I need, other area, stuff that I've been like working with a bit is marketing. My marketing, I really need to work on that, like royally bad. The only thing I've really done with marketing so far is YouTube, or just putting my trailers out there for my games and everything, as well as the forums that I use, like Game Maker forums, or Itch or Game Jolt. I basically just kind of put my stuff out there so people can just kind of, if they look through the forums, they can like see the game and maybe they might be interested. But I know I really need to put my stuff out there more. I just kind of don't fully know where. I know that's a thing I really need to work on. But so far, things I'm going to do, especially with these diaries and videos, like just have areas to focus on and just kind of like a roadmap, so I won't just kind of blindly, get stuck or just be like, oh, I don't have an idea to do anything, so I don't do anything. But basically, things I'm going to do is my programming. I'm going to continue to keep making like mini little games and everything like that, and continue the ones I'm working on now, like buy some milk, work on the final story, and just make logs and videos on that so I can just kind of see my process and just basically get more confident with just like programming in general, as well as to help reinforce things I've done before. Because like, for example, the cutscenes and the dialogue or text code that I have, a lot of that I got from somewhere, but I have been going through and editing it a lot to get it to work the way I want to. So I really do just want to reinforce a lot of that stuff, because I know going through it once isn't really good enough, so I need to go through that more. But mostly the program I will be using will be Game Maker Studio, because that's the first thing I've used and the only thing I'm kind of used to using right now. So I will continue to use that, because so far Game Maker is really good for working with like 2D games and like 2D sprites and assets. So that's a good place for me to really get started. I feel just start for a beginner and be able to just start a bit slower rather than trying to work with 3D models and everything for like Unreal. But in the future, I do want to try using those. For art, that I really want to kind of prioritize pixel art, but I will probably, for the videos, work on pixel art every now and then, specifically for my game, so I can definitely get stuff done for that, as well as kind of see things I've done. But there is a site for pixel art that I did find called, I'm trying to remember exactly, I'm not looking at it right now, but I'll definitely put it up in the video, because I think it's called 2D Will Never Die. That place is really good for a lot of forums and tutorials on how to draw various things in pixel art, a lot of techniques. So that'd be a really good place for me to look, and I'll probably definitely go through some of the stuff on there to get more basic practice. As well as I said before, I will be working with like the books I have to try to get fundamentals of art down as well. So I can just try to learn that and incorporate that in pixel art. Because the books I'll be working with are, and I'll go and put those up on here on the screen, like editing and everything, is how to draw people, step-by-step lessons for figures and poses, and also cartooning the head and figure. Those two books are ones that you're going to focus on in the beginning, because I kind of want something to just focus on, because I have a lot of books. So I do just want something to focus on without just jumping around a lot. But to record it as well, there's also another thing I'm going to be practicing with this as well too. To record me drawing, I'm going to be using a drawing pad that I have, a Star 640 XP pen. This is a drawing pad I bought like several years ago for a class at school, because the teacher wanted us to like do our work on the computer, but then immediately said forget that idea once everybody was like using a mouse and it looked terrible, because nobody just had a drawing pad at the ready. So I just bought it, never used it, and I just kind of remembered, oh yeah, I own this, so why not just give it a shot. Plus, again, while doing that, I can record myself drawing, practice digital arts as well, just practicing, drawing on the computer and all that, just using different softwares as well. I'm going to definitely use a bunch of free softwares, so definitely a thing for that. Same thing for the music as well, too, going back. I'm also going to be using a bunch of free stuff, like everything, for as much stuff as I can. Because if I get things, there's no point in paying for something you don't know what you're doing and then just wasting a bunch of money. So I'm using a lot of free stuff. But yeah, for the drawing tablet as well, just use that to record myself to draw. Because it's probably better than me just like holding my phone or something like that and just recording my hands. So using a drawing pad would be way better. The next thing for this is music. So far, many of the songs I've made for Buy Some Milk, I genuinely do want to go back, look at those, and see what was I thinking, or why did I put something down. Those are pretty good ways for me to just like see my process and all that, as well as look back to see what I need to improve. Because I definitely know I need to improve on my melodies, try to make it more memorable. My audio mixing, I really gotta mess with that, because my songs can sound okay without headphones, but once you put headphones on, it'll sound like really not as good. So I really gotta mess around with that. Same thing with like switching up like drum pacing and everything. I really got a lot of stuff to work on, but so far I've made some like okay stuff now, and I want to go back and look at that again. So that's the thing I'm definitely going to do. And I also want to try to just make some music and everything like that, so I can just see myself in lifetime, just try to make something, see my process for coming up with melodies and why did I just like do something. So I'm definitely going to do that as well. Software I'll be using for that will be Beatbox. I'll put that on screen editing as well. So far this is an online DAW that you can just use to make a lot of music. I mostly use it to make a lot of chiptune music because I like the sounds that it has. And I'll also try out LMMS. That I mostly currently right now use it for sound effects, but I definitely want to try to make music with it at some point. I also, and I don't have it written out here, but I do eventually want to try Family Tracker. I know that's a more complicated thing, really used for making like chiptune music and everything, but I just kind of really want to give it a try because I know a lot of decent music has been made in that. Like I think the Shovel Knight music was made in that. So I really like the sounds, and I really do want to run like old school 8-bit music. So it's definitely a thing I will try out in the future. And moving on to marketing, yeah, I have no idea for that one. Like genuinely, I don't have social media. It's a thing I probably should really look into getting, but currently I don't know what people really use or what really would be a good thing for me to like get or start doing to like make awareness of my stuff. But I really do feel like I probably should get my skills up first and make something that people will want to play before I just try to start marketing and advertising my stuff. Because I know if I just start throwing a bunch of stuff out there, people will just like completely ignore it. So, but at least it'll be out there. But at least know if I just start bugging people with a lot of like not great stuff, you know, reputation wise, people will go, oh yeah, this person makes amateur games. They're kind of, who knows, like, I just kind of want to hold off on that, or at least figure out a better plan. But basically I know these diaries and stuff like that too will also be a good way to like show off my work. So I'll be using these as a way of kind of marketing if somebody ever finds them and watches them. Same thing with making trailers for my games. Just make trailers for those, upload them, and just, you know, see if anybody sees them. But for that, I will be using YouTube like I am now for these. The Game Maker forums. So far, I use those, I said before, just to basically get the word out there about things I've done and everything like that. So I still use those. Itch.io or itch.io, some people say. I'll definitely use that. Same thing with Game Jolts. They have forums on there. I'll use those as well. But mostly for itch, it's just like put my games out in game jams or someone that's trying to make awareness of it. In Steam, that I gotta look a lot into really how to get started with Steam, because a lot of videos I tried to find are really old, and a lot of them really skips the process of how to get a game uploaded. Like a lot of them are just like, oh yeah, just skip most of the steps of getting it set up and just jump right into, you want to upload it here, where everything's set up, great. I'm like, I need to know the beginning parts. So in the future, definitely because going back to it, Game Jolt, and Steam, just all that, in the future I will probably make videos on just how I upload stuff to there. Mostly as reminders for myself, because sometimes I do forget, like, oh, what was the size I needed for this thumbnail, or, you know, what should I have prepared in advance for releasing a game. Because most of the time I just work on one project for a long time, and then by the time I make something new, it's like a few years later and I forget. So something I can go back to, plus it might help somebody else if they see it. Especially for Steam, that I'm gonna look up what I need for all of that, and then I'm definitely making a video for uploading for Game Maker, and just basically getting started for everything you need for that, because that is absolutely something that would be really useful to remind me and maybe help somebody else get started. But basically those are the roadmap for what I want to do for these videos. Specifically, what I'm probably going to go ahead and get started on doing is art. I'm probably going to just go ahead and just open up one of the books, probably, if I had to think about which one I want to start with, how to draw people, step-by-step lessons for figures and poses. I'm probably going to start on that one first, so next video I'll probably just go ahead and do that. But yeah, should probably also think of maybe something to say at the end of these. Yeah, I think it's somewhere. Well, to myself and everybody else, see you in the next one.